life shouldn't stop after you've had a spinal cord injury. There's so many opportunities, you know, places like this, if you get into sport, if you get into a group of people who just get on with life, you soon realise that, you know, you can do anything you want to do.
I know when it first happened, I didn't want anyone to come in and see me. I was, you know, when I was in rehab, first of all, I didn't want friends to come, but fortunately they didn't take any notice of me and came in anyway. And I just found it, really just got to get on with things.
You know, just those sort of dreams and sort of aspirations that you have, you'll still have them. You know, it doesn't, and they're not all about walking, you know, they're just about sport and they're about working and they're about all those things that you did before.
I think it takes time. I mean, I think everyone's different. Some people seem to be able to get back into life really quickly. It took me quite a while, I have to say. But now, this is kind of, you know, me. I've been like this longer than I was before it happened.
Aspire is all about focusing on the individual, providing the right support at the right time, so that each person's unique needs can be met. Aspire's Human Needs Fund pays for the wheelchairs and other specialist equipment that isn't currently available elsewhere, but is absolutely key to a full and independent life.
For me, I mean, initially, I think what really helped me was Aspire helped me with buying a new wheelchair, which was light and was made to move. I mean, just something like that, it just gives you such a different impression about yourself and gives you a bit more confidence.
They help out a number of ways with wheelchairs and things like that, and I've obviously approached them already for my wheelchair, which is quite expensive, and they've helped out fundraising with that.
170 people have been given grants by Aspire to buy the wheelchair or wheelchair adaptation that they need. Another 72 have received grants to purchase computers and other technology.
Environmental control, which I'm going to look at for my chair, just like curtains and opening doors and what else? Turning on lights and things like that. It'd be like really good. Like I wouldn't need as much care as I thought I'd need.
When you're ready to leave hospital and get on with your life, there's nothing more frustrating than your home not being accessible. Aspire houses all round the country remove that frustration until permanent accessible homes can be found.
I lived on my own before my accident, so I was used to being on my own. Then, as I said, when I had the accident, my house had stairs, there were steps to get in, there was no way I could get back in a wheelchair. So that was completely packed up and sold while I was in hospital. So it got to the point after 22 weeks that I was ready to go home, but I wouldn't have had anywhere to go. When you feel that your recovery's really come on well, and then you just come to something as straightforward as, right, I can go now, where am I going to live? I just didn't have anywhere, you know, so if it hadn't been for Aspire and a property like this, then I just don't know where I'd have gone.
There are times when getting on with your life can seem an uphill struggle. Aspire's team of independent living advisors, all of whom have a spinal cord injury, are available to patients in spinal centres across the UK.
They like really helped, like chatting to them is like really good, you know. It's just drives you forward and things, and just hearing their story is brilliant.
Aspire and Spinal have helped me sort of learn to sort of get my independence and everything else, and using the computer and my vehicle has given me a lot more independence than what I had when I first left the hospital.
Technology makes all the difference when building an independent life. Aspire gives every patient in 10 spinal injury centres in the UK and Ireland access to the latest technology, tailored to their needs and plans.
Particularly the internet connection, broadband connection, which means that really I'm just in touch with all my business interests, that sort of thing. I just don't. It's as though I was at home in that sense.
Removing all barriers, real and imagined, between disabled and non-disabled people is at the heart of all Aspire's work, both at its centre in North West London and at its facilities in spinal centres around the country.
When I was first injured, my biggest concern was not being able to carry on with my sport in one form or another. And because I was in at Stanmore, then I was able to use the facilities that Aspire have. It has the only pool in the country that has a ramp into it, which means that I was able to transfer from my day chair into a plastic chair and just push straight down into the water and just swim out of the chair, so you don't have to worry about trying to get into the pool. So I was able to start swimming, as I say, within sort of 6.5, 7 weeks of my accident.
I enjoyed rugby when I was able-bodied, but once I discovered wheelchair rugby, you know, that took over my life more than the able-bodied game ever would. So yeah, I really love it. You know, it's a huge amount of fun, and you forget that you're disabled. You know, all you're interested in is bashing the person or stealing the ball or whatever it is, and you forget, you know, that you can't move your legs or that you can't do this or that. It's just fun, really.
I mean, it is the sort of one of the only centres that does strive for sort of integration, and every time I come down to the gym, there's always another, you know, one or two other wheelchair users, amputees, people with various disabilities, as well as able-bodied people as well. So I mean, it is sort of really truly integrated, which is quite unique. You do get a sense of normality as you come, and you don't feel like you're any different at all.
The pioneering work of Aspire's National Training Centre in northwest London has achieved levels of 40% usage of its sport, leisure and arts facilities by disabled people. It's beginning to influence other UK sports and leisure centres, where currently no more than 2% of users are disabled.
I think people don't realise until they're in an environment which is they feel quite safe in. It's non-judgmental. They can experiment and feel that they are being creative.
You've certainly got to have, you know, personal character to make sure that you do look on the bright side and take the opportunities that come up. But you also need to find an environment where you feel safe to, you know, take a few risks.
It was very liberating. Once I'd let go of the notion that I had to be as I was before.
The real world is like this, with everybody different. There are people in wheelchairs, people like me who've got problems below the waist. There are people who've got much worse problems than I have, and there are people who've got no problems at all. So it's just getting on. You know, it is just, you just got to get on with things, really.
I know shortly after my accident, somebody said to my brother, you know, I'm sorry to hear about Paula because her life's over now, really, isn't it? And I think his answer was, well, you better try telling her that.
Life doesn't stop once you've had a spinal cord injury. On the journey from injury to independence, Aspire is there at every stage.